sing that song for because they probably could relate to it. Now, I may stumble a little bit here, but I just think this song might... Early in the morning, about 4:30, you can see the farmer as he's walking out the door. He slops the hogs and milks the cows, and the chickens he does feed. Then it's out into the cotton fields to hold them old country weeds. But just about noontime, when the sun is overhead, you'll find him down at the country store, and you know what he says. Give me some sardines, pork and beans, that's my favorite dish. Give me some of them saltine crackers and a little bit of tuna fish. That's what the farmer orders when he walks in the door, and then he wolfs that down, turns around and said, give me just a little bit more. And then late in the evening, just about sundown, you can see the farmer when he lays that old hoe down. He climbs aboard his old tractor, and to the farmhouse he does go. Gives his wife a little peck on the cheek when she meets him at the door. She said, honey, what you want for supper? Tell me, what's your favorite dish? He said, well, I am so tired of sardines, and I don't want no tuna fish. Why don't you fry me up some taters? Maybe boil me up some peas. Stew me some cabbage, and make me some of that good old cornbread, please. But you can bet tomorrow, middle of the day, you'll find him down at the country store, and you know what he's gonna say. Give me some sardines, pork and beans, that's my favorite dish. Give me a whole sleeve of saltine crackers and another can of tuna fish. That's what the farmer orders. He walks in the door, and then he wolfs that down, turns around and said, give me just a little bit more of them sardines, pork and beans, that's my favorite dish. And then he walks over to the counter, and Louise is standing there. She's got his little account book in her hand and pulls that pencil from the bun in her hair, and she said, let's see, this week so far I've got you down for 19 cans of beans. I got you down for 23 cans of tuna fish. I got you down for a case of saltine crackers. And I noticed you've got a ROC Coca-Cola and a moon pie in your hand. By the time I add all this up, you're going to owe me an entire year's worth of cotton. Thank you very much. That's one of my very best songs. I wrote that song, let's see, when did I write that song? On the way down here.
As Paul Harvey would say,
and
now for the rest of the story. We're going to ask Pete Woodward to come up and explain it.
Charlie Hughes and I worked together for quite a while over at UG White. And a few years ago, he told me about a song that he had written back in the early 50s with a guy named Smitty Gatlin. Smitty Gatlin and Charlie were buddies. Smitty Gatlin was one of the original Oak Ridge boys. And I said, well, Charlie, I'd like to see that. So one day later, he brought in the lyrics to that song, Sardines and Pork and Beans, and that envelope right there. And it was smudged with red ink all over the lyrics. And I pulled that out, and I remember, and Charlie remembered me saying, after I read the lyrics, I said, wouldn't it be something if someday, somewhere, a well-known performer would do that song live and it'd be a hit? Well, it looks like tonight's that night. And I was going to keep it. I was going to keep those lyrics, but now that Charlie is a world-famous songwriter and he's got a big hit, I think it's time to give it back to him. Charlie, come up here for a minute. But this time I'm not going to give it back to him in that old wadded up envelope that he gave it to me in. I'm going to give it back to him in a frame that's made out of the original old heart pine that was part of the original U.G. White building.
That's what that was for.
Charlie has meant a lot to a lot of people for a long time. And he's meant a lot to me. And I know this is the 9th Storytelling Festival that he's been a big part of. And so I want to give this back to you to just thank you for being Charlie. Thank you for being who you are. On behalf of all the folks that helped make this happen tonight, Wayne Kirkendall, Derek Young, Michael Reno Harrell, on behalf of all the folks that just love Charlie because he's Charlie, and that includes me. I love you, Charlie.
You really don't know what this means. Smitty is buried over in Florence. I go to his grave 2 or 3 times a year. Smitty and I did grow up together right up the road here at Bethel, Tennessee. I was fortunate enough to meet Dwayne Allen and William Golden. First thing William Golden said to me, "Oh, Smitty hired me." Well, Smitty did. He owned the Oak Ridge Boys for a while. And I'm not going to tell the story. I'm not taking all somebody else's time. But this is one of the greatest honors. To hear that song sung, wow. You can't imagine how it makes me feel. To hear, we wrote that thing back in the early 50s. It may have been in the late 40s, to be honest with you, because I graduated from high school in 52. What an honor. Thank you. And what a job he did with that thing.
If y'all want to hear Charlie singing it on video about 3 months ago, it's nothing like what he just sang. I've got it right here.
All right. Is Carmen in the house? Carmen, I don't know what I did to your time.